Chapter 31.2, which is immune system. We are on page number 885 from your textbook. Okay, so let's quickly revise the contents we covered in our last session, and then we shall get on with the topic. So let's start with a verse from the Quran which is related to this topic. The Quran is rebuilding the immune system of the body. Okay, how are they using Quran as a remedy, as a cure for illness, and also in order to rebuild the immune system of the body? Is the immune system of the body is also a program. Therefore, when the virus enters the cell, it will affect the system and cause damages. So when we read certain verses or ayah of the Quran, the sound that enters the body cells reprograms the immune system by the power of the information carried inside the Quranic voice and becomes more capable to recognize the illness and destroys it. That's how the healing by the Quran happens. Subhanallah. So this is how the healing inside happens in our body cells, by improving the immune system. So they are using Quran these days as a type of a treatment for the illness, subhanallah, in various hospitals in the Islamic countries. Okay, so even at home, if you're trying to play Surah Al-Baqarah or any verse from the Quran, any surah or chapter from the Quran, so it is very good for the people if they have any illness, or also it's very good if we listen to it. So let's start with the objectives for this topic are to study the functions of the immune system and to explain how the immune system fights the various pathogens and infections. Let's do a KWL. What can you see on this picture here? What are these, girls? It's already written on the picture. What are these types of?
Wait, I don't know how to print it.
They are the types of?
White blood cells.
White blood cells, which are monocytes, eosinophils, basophils. So each of this cell, it has a specific function in the body, which we are going to study further in the topic here. Alright, the key concept for this topic is the immune system. It consists of organs, cells, and molecules that fight the infections. Okay, so many body systems, they protect you from pathogens, and your body has organs, cells, and tissues to protect you from pathogens. So there are various organs of the immune system which help you to protect again and fight against the various foreign particles or pathogens which enter your body. The body system that fights off infection is the immune system, and the immune system works with other body systems to prevent infection. So all these body systems, they need to work hand in hand in order to fight against various infections which try to enter our body. So the first area which is exposed to the outside world, the largest organ of your body, the skin, is the one which is susceptible to various infections caused through this. The various pathogens try to enter your body, right? So your skin is your body's first physical defense. It prevents pathogens from entering your body. How does it do that? Your skin also secretes oil and sweat, which make it hard for the pathogen to survive on the skin's surface. Okay, so the sweat which is produced and also the oil which is secreted by the sebaceous glands on the surface of our skin makes it hard for the pathogens to enter our body unless there is an open cut or a wound or a bruise. Okay, for example, if you have a cut or any bruise or any part of the body wherein you have a wound, so such type of opening, it allows the bacteria or various pathogens to enter your body. Okay, so the cuts or scrapes, they provide an entrance for the pathogens. Also, your eyes, ears, nose, and mouth could also provide an entrance for the various pathogens to enter your body. Fortunately, these openings, they have extra protection, like your eyes, they have the eyelashes, the tears and all, and also the sticky mucous membranes and hair-like structures which are present in your nose, which trap the foreign particles from entering your body. Also, your throat, the trachea, it is lined by ciliated cells, the cells which have the cilia on top of them, so that the bacteria or pathogens cannot enter your body through your throat also. And also the mucus which you keep on throwing up, for example, when you have a cold or a cough, the mucus which comes out from your throat, this cells in the trachea, they do not allow the mucus to enter your body. So it is again pushed back up to your throat so that you can just remove the mucus, and you just spit it and remove the mucus from your nose and clean it from time to time because it contains the bacteria. Yes, Vidi.
My nose helps heal my cuts and bruises?
No. Your nose does not help heal the cuts and bruises. I'm talking about how the various structures in the nose, they trap the bacteria and pathogens, or they stop the pathogens from entering your body.
What has to do with my injuries?
Okay, so I'm talking about the injuries, that whenever you have an injury on your skin, like a cut or a wound, when it is open, it is more susceptible to infection. So what do you need to do to that injury? Can you leave it open like that without treating it?
Disinfect it.
Yeah, you need to disinfect it, but as far as possible, you need to cover that infection without leaving it open. Okay, so if you're leaving it open, it attracts the various bacteria. Again, it can the wound, it can escalate. So you try to clean it, disinfect it, apply anything which is antiseptic or antibacterial, and try to cover it with a band-aid, or if it is a small kind of a wound on the organs which you use a lot, like the hands or the legs. Otherwise, if it is a very a serious kind of a cut or a wound, then you have a bandage which the doctors put on top of it. Clear, partner?
Yes.
Yeah. So we're basically talking about how the pathogens might enter your body. So basically the skin, it stops these pathogens to enter your body with the help of the sebaceous glands, oil secretions, and also the sweat. Unless there is a cut or a wound which you need to cover. Then also your mouth, the pathogens can enter from your ears, your nose, the various openings which you have in your body, like the mouth, though we have defense system in all the organs. Like what is the defense which is present in our nose? Is the tiny hair which traps these bacteria from entering, or the pathogens from entering. And what is the defense present in your throat? Is these trachea, which contain the ciliated cells. And what is the difference present in our eyes, Fatina? Can you tell me?
The bacteria present in our eyes?
The bacteria present in our eyes?
Wait, is that what you asked me?
I'm asking you for the defense mechanism which is present in our eyes, which does not allow the pathogens to enter your body.
Tears.
Tears, very good. And also
eyelashes.
Eyelashes, very good. So why do we keep on blinking our eyes?
To keep them from being dry.
Yeah, to keep from getting dry. And also we are stopping from anything to enter our eyes by keep on flapping it or blinking it like this. That is also a mechanism which which keeps these foreign particles away from our eyes. Okay, and yes, of course, tears, as you mentioned. So these are the various things which stop the pathogens, or remove the pathogens from our eyes or nose before they can enter the rest of the body. Okay. Now let's move on to the next subtopic, which is many body systems, they protect you from pathogens. Now, how do they protect you from the pathogens? We of course know that the immune system is the body system that fights off infections and pathogens, right? Then how are the other systems related, or how do they work together in order to fight infections in our body? Okay, so we know the immune system is the body system that fights off infections and pathogens. Just as a castle has several lines of defense, so does your body's immune system. Okay, so the immune system, it relies on physical barriers to keep pathogens out. However, when pathogens get past the physical barriers, the body cells of the immune system travel through the lymphatic and circulatory systems to reach the site of infection. So despite all these barriers which are present, some pathogens, they still manage to enter your body. Okay, so what happens when they finally enter your body, maybe through food or through the air you breathe or however you catch infections? So what happens once the pathogen enters your bloodstream? Yeah. Go ahead, sweetie. Anyone has a question?
Jenna?
Yeah.
Jenna, did you
Your skin is your body's first line of defense, okay? Meaning like a castle's outer wall, the skin surrounds and protects your insides. Yes, sweetie, you're asking me to wait? What is it? Anybody has a question? Hello? Yes, Hala Musa, you have a question dear?
No.
All right. Okay, so what does your skin do? As we discussed already, it secretes sweat and oil in order to keep the pathogens away and cause many pathogens. They cannot survive in this kind of environment. Okay, then just as the castle's walls have doors and windows, your skin also has openings. For example, your eyes, nose, ears, mouth and excretory organs are open to the environment and so they need extra protection. So mucous membranes in these organs use hair-like cilia that are covered with sticks. Move on. Okay, so this is about how the skin it provides defense to the body and how the various organs or the openings in your body are covered. So even with skin and mucous membranes to protect you, some pathogens still get inside your body. So once pathogens are inside, the immune system relies on the circulatory system to send chemical signals to coordinate and attack and transport specialized cells to this infection. Now, what are these specialized cells which fight the infection? What are they known as?
White blood cells.
White blood cells, excellent. So these are the soldiers in our body which help in fighting these infections. So before I move on to the next subtopic, let me ask you a quick question. Name some of the tissues that help to prevent and fight infection.
No.
I'm talking about the tissue. Which type of tissues help to prevent and fight infections? Or which type of sense organs in our body? Girls, there is skin as we just now discussed, then the blood vessels, the lymph vessels, the mucous membranes which line the various organs inside our body. So all these are the tissues which help in preventing or fighting the infection. All right. Okay, so let's talk about the cells which help fight the body infections. Now, once pathogens get past all of your outer defenses, the cells of your immune system spring into action. Just as a castle has many fighters and weapons, your immune system has many types of WBC and proteins. Now, WBC are not only one of a kind, there are many types of WBC present in your body. Each of it has a specific function. Okay, so what actually are WBC and what is their function? Let's talk about it. Now, WBC they find in, yes. Yeah, who's going on and on? Alright, so WBC, what do? They find and kill the pathogens that have gotten past the body's external barriers. External barriers meaning they might enter through our skin or nose or ears or reproductive organs or from anywhere. Alright, the 6 main types of WBC cells and their roles in the fighting infection we are going to study further. So these are the 6 types of the WBC which are present in your body, and this is the function which they carry out. So when a pathogen enters the body, the basophils in the bloodstream or mast cells, they are found in other tissues, they release chemical signals. So we are talking about the basophils and the mast cells. These are the first 2 types of WBC listed in this table here. What do? they release the chemical signals. Okay, these signals, they attract other WBC to the site of the infection. So wherever there is a site of infection from where the pathogens are trying to enter your body, these basophils and mast cells, they send signals through which all the other WBC, they reach the site of the infection. So if the pathogen is a parasite, you know what is a parasite? Girls, what is a parasite?
Something in like a survival relationship that they only feed, like they harm you by surviving.
Yeah, something which feeds on your body or which lives on other people's body is known as a parasite. So you can call a leech a parasite, a worm or tick, a mite, a lice. All these are the parasites which present, which try to attack your body or which are present on your body. Okay, so if the pathogen is a parasite, the eosinophils, they come and spray the parasite with poison. So these eosinophils, which are a type of WBC, they reach that site of infection, and what do? They spray that particular parasite with the poison which they release. So if the pathogen is a virus, bacterium or fungus, the neutrophils and macrophages, they go to work. Okay, so it depends on the type of pathogen also. If it is a parasite, it is sprayed with the poison. Or if it is a bacteria or a virus or a fungus particle, the neutrophils and macrophages, they come into action. What do? They swallow these pathogens. So that is why they are given the name phagocytes. A phagocyte is a cell that destroys pathogens by surrounding and engulfing them. Engulfing meaning they swallow the phagocytes all together. Alright, so the infection causing particles, they swallow them all together, and that is the role of these types of pathogens. I'm muting you all.
What is the difference between pathogen and parasite?
Okay, a pathogen can be any disease-causing particle. Even a parasite can be a pathogen if it causes diseases in you. Okay, so any type of virus, bacteria, fungus, or any parasite which causes diseases or any infections in your body, it is commonly known as a pathogen. The term given to it is a pathogen. Okay, now pathogens are of different types again. Bacteria is a pathogen, virus, fungus, all these are pathogens. And parasite is a type of pathogen. They are normally organisms which live on the bodies of other organisms. They live off the other organisms by sucking their blood of animals or humans, or a few pathogens, the parasites, they also live on the plants. Like you see the way these worms, which are the various insects which infect the plants. So all these are parasites which live on the bodies of other plants or animals or humans. Clear, Gadi?
Yes.
Is the question answered? Any more questions, Vedi?
No.
All right, so let's move on to our topic. All right, so these are the functions of various types of the WBC. The phagocytes, like the neutrophils and macrophages, what do? They engulf the pathogens altogether. They swallow them. That is why the name phagocytes has been given to them. Phagocyte meaning that destroys the pathogen by surrounding and engulfing them. Okay, so after phagocytes, there are the lymphocytes. What do? They reach the infection. Then lymphocytes are WBC that initiate the specific immune responses, which you will read about in the next topic. Okay, so what are immune responses? We are going to teach you under an entire topic, which is 31.3. But these are immune responses. They are initiated by the lymphocytes, which are a type of WBC. Now, there are two types of lymphocytes in your body, which are T lymphocytes and B lymphocytes. They are commonly known as T cells and B cells. Okay, what do? They destroy the body cells that are infected with pathogens. Okay, for example, there is a particular area in your body which has already been infected by the pathogens, or those particular cells have started the infection. So these lymphocytes, they destroy those cells so that the infection, it does not travel to the other areas of your body. Okay, so B cells, they produce proteins that inactivate the pathogens that have not yet infected a body cell. So how do they do that? The B cells and the T cells, especially the B cells, they produce a type of a protein, which is a type of an enzyme that inactivates the pathogen. That means it stops the action of the pathogen, or sometimes even kills the pathogen in those cells, so that it does not travel to the infection does not spread to the rest of the body. Okay, so what are the 6 types of WBC which are present in our body? Girls, can you please read out one by one?
No.
Who said no? Who said no just now? Can you please tell me your name? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, who wants to read out the types of WBC one by one along with their function? Go ahead, speak.
Can I remove the
What?
thing? I can see it now. Cells and proteins fight the body's infection. Miss, I can't see.
You can't see the screen? Can you see it now?
No.
No? Girls, can you all view the presentation?
I can see it now.
Okay, great. Read it out, please.
Cells and proteins fight the body's infection. White blood cells attack infections inside the body. Phagocytes engulf and destroy pathogens. T cells destroy infected cells. B cells produce antibodies. Basophil makes chemicals that cause inflammation in the bloodstream. Mast cell makes chemicals, inflammation in other body tissues. Neutrophil is pathogens and foreign invaders. Phagocyte, macrophage engulfs dead or damaged body cells and some bacteria. Phagocyte, lymphocyte destroys infected body cells or produces proteins that inactivate pathogens. Eosinophil injects poisonous packets into parasites such as protozoa.
Thank you very much, Kadi. Okay, so these are the 6 types of the WBC and the functions which they carry out in the body. All right. So, so over here also you have the same, you can see these are the pictures of the various WBC which are present. This is how the monocyte looks like, the eosinophil, the basophil, the neutrophil, and these are the lymphocytes. All right. Okay, now let's talk about the proteins, or how these proteins are released by these lymphocytes, which help in fighting the various pathogens in your body. Okay, so the immune system, it uses 3 types of proteins to fight off invading pathogens: complement proteins, antibodies, and interferons. Okay, so these are the 3 types of proteins which are produced by the WBC in order to fight the various pathogens that enter your body. Now let's talk about complement proteins first. They are on page number 887 from your textbook. So the complement proteins are made by WBC and by certain organs. So some complement proteins, they weaken a pathogen cell membrane, allowing water to enter the cell and cause it to burst. So these proteins are like enzymes. So when they are released, what do? They weaken the cell membrane of the pathogens. Okay, so when the cell membrane is weakened, what happens? It allows the water to enter the cell and causes it to burst. This is how these complement proteins, they work. Now other complement proteins, they attract the phagocytes to the infected area, and still others, they cause microbes to stick to the walls of blood vessels where they can more easily be found and destroyed by circulating phagocytes. Okay, so the rest of the complementary proteins, what do? They bring these yeah. Okay, so what do? They bring these infection-causing particles inside the blood vessels so that it's very easy to capture them and in order to kill or destroy them inside the blood vessels. So how are they destroyed? They are found and destroyed by circulating phagocytes. All right, so that is how they do that. So this is the function of the complementary proteins, which are a kind of enzymes which are released by the WBC and also certain organs in our body. The next type of proteins are the antibodies. What do? The antibodies are proteins made by the B cells, which are a type of lymphocyte in your body. Antibodies, they destroy the pathogens in one of the three ways. Antibodies might make the pathogen ineffective by binding to the pathogen's membrane proteins. Okay, this is how they do it. You can see this is the antibody which is trying to bind to the outer surface of the pathogen, making it ineffective. Okay, then also what do? They show antibodies might also cause pathogens to clump, making them easier for phagocytes to engulf and destroy. So these antibodies, they bring them in a group altogether, all these pathogens. So the type of phagocytes, which are the two types of the WBC which engulf these. All right. So what do? These antibodies, they help in these clumping together these pathogens so that the phagocytes, they can engulf and destroy them. And other antibodies, they activate the complement proteins that weaken the pathogenic cell membrane. Okay, so these antibodies, they not only help the pathogens in making them ineffective, but sometimes they also help the complement proteins, the first type of the proteins which we're discussing about, in carrying out their action efficiently. Okay, then that is the weakening the cell membrane efficiently. And the third type of proteins are the interferons. Okay, what do? They are the proteins which are produced by the body cells that are infected by a virus. Okay, so these interferons, the cells, they release interferons which stimulate the uninfected body cells to produce enzymes that will prevent viruses from entering and infecting them. So if viruses cannot enter healthy cells, they cannot reproduce. So other interferons, they stimulate an inflammation response. So basically the interferons, they prevent viruses from infecting the healthy cells. Okay, so they act only on the type of viruses which enter your body. The viruses of course cause a lot of infections and diseases in your body, starting from common cold to very serious infections. So these interferons, they prevent these viruses from infecting the healthy cells. Now we studied in our grade 10 as to how these viruses, they capture the cell and how do they infect the cell we studied under the lytic and lysogenic infections, if you recollect in your grade 10. Okay, so these are the three types of proteins which are released by the WBC and also the various other cells in our body, which help in making these pathogens either ineffective or stopping the action of these pathogens, or also destroying or engulfing the pathogens altogether. All right, is it clear? Any questions so far? Girls? All right, before moving ahead, let me ask you a quick question. What are some differences between the ways WBC and proteins fight infections? What is the difference between the WBC, the types of WBC we just now discussed, and the three proteins and which we discussed now? So what is the difference between the ways with which they fight the infections? Who wants to answer this question? No one? Okay, the answer is white blood cells, they engulf and destroy the pathogens, and plasma proteins, what do? They help the white blood cells to work or signal to other body cells to protect themselves. So like the WBC, they do not directly destroy the pathogens, but these type of proteins, they either release the enzymes or they signal the other cells to act immediately against these pathogens. So that is the difference. So let's move on to the last subtopic, which is immunity prevents a person from getting sick from a pathogen. So how does the immunity does it? So if you are immune to a pathogen, it means that you will not get sick when that pathogen invades your body. There are two types of immunity which are present in your body, which are known as passive immunity and active immunity. Okay, so passive immunity is the immunity that occurs without the body's undergoing an immune response. So what is an immune response? I'll tell you. Now, passive immunity is transferred between generations through DNA and between mother and a child. So this is the immunity which you inherit from your parents, okay, which you inherit from your mother or father, and also this is given to you from your mother. When you're born, the first milk which is given to you, which is fed to you by your mother, the first feed, it is known as the colostrum. Okay, so this is a colorless, transparent liquid. So it is very rich in immunity. This is how the mother passes the immunity to the newborn baby through this by feeding this colostrum. Okay, so some viruses, so this is about how you inherit from your parents. So let's talk about the passive immunity further. Some viruses, they can be spread between different species. So a pathogen that infects a bird might infect a person as well. As we first were discussing that COVID-19 might have been spread through bats. Yeah, bat, which is a kind of a bird. However, some viruses only make members of a specific species sick. Now, general immunity is immunity that a species has because a pathogen is not specialized to harming that species. Okay, so this is the immunity which you have in your body right from your birth because you have inherited it or you got it from your mother. So infants, they have another type of immunity which is inherited immunity. It occurs when pathogen fighting antibodies in a mother's immune system, they are passed to the unborn baby through the umbilical cord or the mother's milk. So this type of immunity which you inherit from your mother's antibodies and also from your mother's milk is known as inherited immunity, which is a kind of passive immunity. And one more immunity which we discuss is the genetic immunity. What is it? It is the immunity that a species has because a pathogen is not specialized. Because a few pathogens that can infect only a few type of organisms or birds or animals. They cannot infect the others. For example, a type of pathogen can infect only the birds but not humans. Why? Because you have that immune system, immunity, which is known as the genetic immunity, due to which that particular pathogen, it cannot infect you. It can only infect the birds. Okay, so all these are the types of passive immunity. So it is transferred between generations through DNA and also between mother and a child. Clear so far? Any questions, girls? Any questions? Yeah, so what